Today we're making something special for the holidays. 3 different Quince chutneys that are absolutely perfect on a holiday table, right next to, or even instead of, cranberry sauce. Let's start with the Quince chili chutney. Start by washing the quince and rubbing off the natural fuzz that's on the skin. Then peel them, core them, and cut the fruit into really small cubes. If you're making more than one of the recipes in this video, of course this step is the same for all of them. Mix the diced quince with sugar and salt and let them sit for about an hour. This draws out some juice and softens the fruit, as quince are quite hard. While that's happening, peel and finely dice a shallot, peel and finely dice a small nub of ginger, and cut a red chili pepper into thin strips after removing the seeds. Once the quince has rested, add the shallots, ginger, chili, the vinegar and the cinnamon stick to a pot. Bring everything to a boil, then lower the heat and let it cook slowly until the mixture thickens. Keep an eye on it while it's cooking because chutneys are high in sugar and therefore burn really easy. Stay on a low temperature for simmering. Right at the end, add finely ground black pepper and taste to adjust the salt, sugar or heat level. When the chutney is thick and glossy and the quince is tender, remove the cinnamon stick and fill it into hot, clean jars. This one is amazing with cheese or on roast pork, or honestly, just on a cracker. For the second chutney, we go a little brighter and more aromatic. Start the same way, wash, peel, core and dice your quince. Combine the sugar with whatever type of vanilla you're using and add a pinch of salt. Pop in a couple of cardamom pods if you like, and don't forget to add the cinnamon stick. Mix the result into your chopped quince and let it stand for an hour so it can pull out some juice and soften the fruit. Same step as in the last recipe. While the quince rest, finely dice a shallot. To be honest, personally I think shallots are a little overrated. A white or a red onion will do just fine. Peel off a very thin strip of orange zest and cut it into matchstick thin slices. Then juice the orange completely. There's a couple of ways to zest an orange. Of course, you can simply use a very sharp small knife. That always works. Personally, I prefer to use a peeler because, as you can see, that's easy. And you don't get too much of the white pith with it. Of course, there's these magical gadgets that supposedly do everything better. But to be honest, it creates nice little strips, but it's by far not as easy as advertised. And if you don't have the dexterity and power to do this, this tool is utterly useless for you. So, sharp knife or a peeler is my recommendation. Add the rested quince mix to a pot over medium heat. Toss in the orange juice, the vinegar, and the orange zest we chopped earlier. Stir it all together and bring it to a simmer. Then reduce the heat and let it cook low and slow. Again, pay attention, there's a lot of sugar in it, this burns easily. Stir a lot. Over time, the chutney will change color from a bright yellow to a mellow orange. That's when you add pepper to taste and sample for preferred levels of acidity and sweetness. Time to fill the chutney into clean jars. Wipe the rim clean so the lid can form a tight seal and seal the jars. I'm turning my jars upside down because I'm not processing these in a water bath. I learned it like that from my grandmother and that's good enough for me. This one pairs beautifully with cheese just like the last one, but it's especially good on holiday roasts like duck or turkey or even game and venison. If you want to try something special, spoon it over vanilla ice cream for dessert. Our third chutney is a little bit heartier and more savory. Peel and core 2 large quince and chop them into small pieces, just like before. This time the step for softening them is not necessary because the pumpkin has quite some cooking time, so the quince will have enough time to cook down. Dice your onions, press or mince your garlic, and cut a small Hokkaido pumpkin into medium cubes. The amount of quince and pumpkin should be about the same. Heat a little oil and start by cooking the quince, pumpkin and onions just until they soften slightly. Add a pinch of salt and then the brown sugar. I noticed I didn't have enough brown sugar on hand, but that's not a problem if you have molasses. Because most brown sugar you buy in the store is simply white sugar mixed with molasses. So in a pinch, use white sugar and add a teaspoon of molasses for the exact same flavor profile. That said, throw in the garlic and the hot pepper. Grind in some black pepper and add a good dash of paprika powder. Finally, the curry powder goes in as well. Mix everything together thoroughly, cover and let simmer on low until everything is nice and soft. And while the pumpkin and quince are mingling in the pot for half an hour, how about you give this video a like because it really helps my channel. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another episode. Stir frequently. Remember, it's kinda sugary and tends to stick. When the pumpkin and the quince are soft and you can mash them easily, do exactly that. Mash everything together to a chunky texture using one of those potato mashers. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Fill the chutney into clean jars while still piping hot. As before, wipe the rim so the lid can seal properly and then seal the jars. I turn them upside down again, not sure it makes much of a difference, but it doesn't hurt either. This one's really great for turkey, ham, and as a condiment on leftover sandwiches. And that's all three, the chili chutney, the orange chutney, and the pumpkin chutney, of course, all made with quince. They keep beautifully for several months up to a year. Of course, you need to refrigerate them once you open the jar. And if you want to see more of my holiday recipes, there's a playlist in the end screen.